All right, it's time to start the query segment, and we're already getting requests from people to extend this segment. Unfortunately, we can't. We'll do the best that we can, though. Just a quick reminder to everybody who's tuned in, if you've got a query on a stock, do ask on one stock. If you bought it, then tell us what level you bought it at, and also how long you would like to hold it. The first question is coming in from Parveen, and she's asking about Cadilla, which she bought at levels of 363. She's looking for a short-term view. Kunal, this is based on the charts. How do you see it going, and would you say that she should hold on?
I'll suggest to hold on to the trade, keep a trailing stop loss. That will depend on your comfort level and how long you can hold on to the trade. The stock has formed a bullish RSI divergence on the daily chart, and if that divergence setup is likely to get complete, then I believe Cadillac can head towards at least a 410, 412 levels over the next maybe 1 to 2 weeks. So if that's the kind of a time frame which you're looking out for, then I would suggest keep a target close to 410, 412 levels for Cadillac.
Chandran Iyer, and he's saying that he has HDFC Life, which he's purchased for 650 rupees per share for 1 year. He's saying 3 months have already passed, and he's left with 9 more months. And he's saying he's sitting with on a huge loss. So what should he do? What's your take on this one, Kunal? HDFC Life, how are the charts looking for this particular account? Ravi Chandran is sitting on a loss.
Just to hold on. So yes, the stock has underperformed, but then when you are looking at a top quality large cap, name from the insurance pack, then you'll have to give it more time. You can't be looking at the stock and try to perform in just about every few quarters or every half a year for itself. So I would believe that many of these insurance stocks, even HDFC Life, it seems to have formed a reasonable base at this 550, 560 levels where it tested, I think, last week or a couple of weeks back. Now, keeping that as a strong support zone, I would believe that the stock can come back towards 625, 630 over the next 1 to 2 months. So possibly the stock can move up higher. I'll suggest to hold on to HDFC Life.
Question coming in from Mr. S. Gopalakrishnan from Chennai, and he's asking about Bharat Electronics. He's holding on, Gaurang, at levels of 211, and he can hold for at least a year, he says. On the fundamentals, should he continue to hold? Should he average his cost at this juncture?
So, Alex, on the fundamental, we do have a buy call on BEL, and in case if the stock slips below 200, closer to 190, I think it will be a very attractive zone to even average or make new investments. My only request to the investor would be that extend the time horizon. This is one of the best plays as far as defense-related FDI, which was opened up by the government, and being a public sector undertaking, order book looks to be quite strong, equally good as the execution capacity. So stay invested below 200, closer to 190. I think it would be a place to average and make new investments. Extend the time horizon because defense related plays always takes time to play out in terms of long-term investment ideas.
Right. This one is from Marion. Holding SBI Cards at the level of 860 rupees per share. It's a huge loss. The time horizon is for 15 to 18 months. What should Marion do, Kunal? SBI Cards, definitely it is actually off those levels that is bought at. What should Marion do?
Well, I would suggest to extend the time horizon and then look out for the stock in terms of averaging the stock at current levels. Now, SBI Cards has come back towards its major support point, and the support is right from the previous year. I think end of 2020 and start of 2021, the stock was hovering at this 750 to 800 zone for itself, where it consolidated for almost 3-4 months and then managed to pick up pace and rally and come back towards 1100 mark for itself. So it's come back towards tapping its multi-month, multi-quarter support levels for itself. So I would suggest that if possible, you can look to average at current levels. If not, then at least hold for a medium-term basis. I would expect the stock to come back towards at least a 900 to 950 over the next 6 to 8 months.
Gaurang, the next question is coming in from Dikshita, and she's asking about Devyani International. It's doing quite well for itself in trade today, gaining over 3%. She's wondering on the fundamentals, though, can it be entered into at the current price?
So, Alex, as a disclosure during the IPO, just before the IPO, in fact, we had come out with the IPO note and we had given a subscribe to the IPO from a long-term point of view. I think India remains to be a consumption-driven story, and of the 140 crore population, you have 35% which are young, and they always have craving for the items which are listed as far as Devyani International is concerned. It's a QSR segment play. From a long-term point of view, if you do want to get invested, I think use dips to buy into it. Don't go and put all your money at one time. Staggered approach would be a sensible investment idea.
Right. This one is from Rajiv Singh. Apollo Tyres purchase at 238 rupees per share. What to do is what he's asking. Not told whether he's looking for the longer term or the short term. But what's your take, Kunal, on Apollo Tyres? That particular counter, I believe, hit a 52-week low in yesterday's trading session.
Well, yes, it did. But when you look at the long-term charts, again, the last 18 months or so for Apollo Tyres, it's been hovering at this strong support zone sub the 200 levels. 185, 195 has been a major support point for Apollo Tyres, and the stock has been consolidating. So in the last full 1 year, the stock took support at this 185, 195 band, and on the upside there was a huge resistance at this 250 mark approximately for Apollo Tyres. So which means that the stock is getting into this 20% band of consolidation, for itself, and I think it's a healthy consolidation, because when you look at the rally, the stock pick up from March 20 low, and this 1 year of consolidation, it would now term to be a healthy consolidation. A breakout of a bullish flag pattern as well could be due for Apollo Tyres. So I believe that if you bought at high levels, it's a good time where you can look to average. And if the stock comes back closer to that 185, 190 zone, that should be again a good level to for you to average. Hold on for the next 12 to 18 months. I would believe a potential target of 275 to 285 could be possible for Apollo Tyres.
This is as much a question on a stock as it is a question on strategy, Kunal. We've got Raghu from Chennai, who's bought PTC India Financial Services at an average price of 21.3. The stock is currently trading at 17 and not great volumes from what I can see. Market cap is low. What he's looking for is to recover his cost price and then to move to something else, better quality. Is that the right approach, or would you say it's better to book losses at this juncture and move to quality?
Well, I think, of course, the latter is most important. You have to ensure that you shift towards quality. And I think at current levels of markets, we've been discussing, Alex, over the last 2-3 days, specifically that the markets are offering at, we are at such a juncture where majority of the large caps are already available at a 20-25% discount for themselves. Forget about the mid and the small caps. Now, I think these are good opportunities where one should, from an investing perspective, should try and take opportunity of these kind of corrections. So I would definitely go with the latter, that you have to move on to a large cap name. Now for PTC financial services, I think there could be a possibility that the stock may show some rally and say come back towards 18.5 or 19.5 kind of a zone for itself. So what you can do is just wait for some bit of more bounce, because the markets have also shown signs of strength after a lot of time. There could be possibility that many of these mid caps and small caps, they can also get into a bounce process, but then use that bounce or a rally to exit and move on to large caps.
Okay, this one is from Kumar, and he has a significant exposure to the hospitality in the hotel sector. He has exposure to names like Chalet Hotels, Lemon Tree, Indian Hotels, as well as IRCTC. So he's asking whether he should be concerned about any impact that this geopolitical tensions will have on this sector. Gaurang, we know that the sector is actually now slowly coming out of the woods with what the pandemic had done. Do you think that if you are an investor in the hospitality or hotel sector, you need to be worried given that given the geopolitical tensions that we are seeing?
So the tension I am given to understand is between the border of Ukraine and Russia, and not anywhere near the Indian borders. I don't think geopolitical situation will have any kind of impact on this sector, and I'll restrict my comment on the sector, Cheryl, because I don't have coverage on any of the hotel-related stocks. IRCTC that you mentioned, as a disclosure, we had covered it during the IPO time, and it looks to be a strong company. More problem, Cheryl, is from the pandemic point of view, and it's good to see that we are at the lower trajectory, but I am also concerned that this is not the end of the pandemic. It remains to be seen what new avatar we see and what are the kind of restrictions that are put in place. So you need to be a little bit careful and cautious in case if you are buying into a hospitality industry, you should have elevated risk appetite. No specific recommendations.
Okay. Let's take the next question. We've got one that comes in from Jagdish. And this one's for you, Kunal. I'm not really sure whether he's actually gotten into a trade. No, he's saying that he wants to buy HDFC Bank March futures at the current levels. How should he play this trade?
I think you can look to buy the March futures. I think the stock today has given some sort of an indicator breakout. So, I look out for, trades specifically from the likes of MACD and ADX. If both of them they combined give a breakout, we tend to get, stronger momentum breakouts for, stocks and specifically for large cap names. I think the MACD has given a breakout today for HDFC Bank. So I'm waiting that if the ADX also confirms, you could probably expect the stock can pick up decent momentum for itself. So it could actually turn out to be a good trade. But then again, don't restrict yourself with just that, March kind of a outlook for HDFC Bank. It's a quality stock, been a big underperformer in the entire previous year as compared to the rest of the private sector banks. So if the catch-up plays out, the catch-up could be a huge catch-up as compared to the other private sector banks from a medium-term to long-term perspective as well.
Right. Krishna Prasad wants an entry point for Sona Comstar for the long term, and he's directed this question to you, Kunal. I know it's a recently listed counter. Would you be able to help with an entry point for this particular one, Sona Comstar?
So again, recently listed name, limited history. But then in terms of price patterns, the last 3 months, majority of these mid caps and small caps in the recently listed name, they have gone through a correction for themselves. But surprisingly for Sona Comstar, as I analyze the chart, the stock has somehow managed to hold on to that support of 600 for itself. So the last 5 months, if you look at the price patterns, 2 months of rally, 3 months of correction, the stock has somehow taken support at the 600 mark, more or less, give or take 10-15 rupees from those levels. So, which means that 600 is acting as a good demand zone for Sona Comstar. So, if you're looking to buy the stock at support levels, then I think 600 approximately could be a good entry point for you.
The question is for you, Gaurang, and I think I already know your answer, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Mr. Parsi from Bangalore is asking about the future group stocks on the basis of what is happening with the Amazon, the Reliance deal, everything that's happening in court. How should a retail investor approach this?
Well, again, no specific coverage on any of the future group stocks, but with the kind of news flow, Alex, the future itself is in big question mark. And whenever you have, issues going to the court with certain names in the Indian corporate universe, I think the alarms bell should ring loud and clear and much earlier rather than later. Having said that, we don't cover any of the future group stocks, so won't be able to comment. Time to rethink on your strategy.
Right. Let me take this one. It's coming from Vijay Lakshmi. Wants view on Praj Industries, whether it's a good time to enter or wait for some more downside. Long-term horizon is what Vijay Lakshmi is looking out for. What's your take, Kunal?
To average Praj Industries or look to buy depending on your existing position. If you're a new investor into the stock, then I think at current levels of 335, 340 is a classic entry point. Two reasons. One, the stock has corrected almost 20% from its previous major high. The stock has come back towards its 200 moving average. The last time, which was I think in the month of December 2021, the stock had or the fall had gotten arrested for Praj Industries just closer to its 200 DMA, and from there it started off a new rally and made a new high for itself, which means that this is a crucial support zone for Praj Industries. So on majority of the prospects, it looks very attractive to enter at current levels.
Now, a question coming in from Shreya from Hyderabad. She's asking about Engineers India, which she acquired at levels of 75. She's wondering whether it's likely to correct more from these prices. How is it looking on the charts?
Well, I've been tracking Engineers India since quite a lot of time, and surprisingly, it's been one of the PSUs which has consistently underperformed. Now, you look at the last 7 months of 8 months of chart pattern as well. It's not been an exciting chart. In fact, from 84, 85 levels, if I'm not wrong, the stock has corrected now towards sub 63 or 64, where it's currently trading. So it's a stock which has consistently underperformed. and looks also that the stock would probably continue to underperform in the near to medium term. So if you're holding the stock, I would suggest to exit and move on to another large cap name.
Right. This next query is coming in from Sapna, and she wants your view, Kunal, on Adani Wilmar. She's saying she already has 100 shares purchased at 372 rupees per share. Will you be able to give your views on this one?
Not at all. Very, very limited history in terms of prices. I'll avoid commenting on it.
Absolutely. Gaurang, do you have a coverage on Adani Wilmar?
If my good friend Gulal is giving it a pass, I have no reason to make any comments, to be very honest.
Absolutely. Yeah, we like to tell our viewers that, given that it's recently listed companies, the technical analyst will not be able to help you on the chart patterns for these companies. So, please don't mind that. Let me move on. This one is coming from Vijay Lele, and he's saying he has 100 shares of Cyient Technologies, which he's purchased at 1,070 rupees per share. He is a long-term investor, wants to know whether he should hold, sell or average out. His time horizon is 5 years. Gaurang, Cyient, how does this one look to you?
So a better placed name, Cheryl, amongst the mid-cap IT universe. But in terms of performance, last 6 to 8 months, there will be a significant amount of improvement. If you got into the stock from a long-term point of view, and not to forget, post the third quarter number, Cheryl, large cap, mid cap ITs have corrected. So don't mind that intermediate correction, short term, medium term. I think if you are in for the long term, hold on to it. And if you have investable amount, you can make fresh investments post the correction, or you can even add as well.
Gentlemen, it's time to hit the rapid fire segment. You know this very well. We're going to hit you with a lot of queries, and hopefully you'll be able to take as many of them as possible. The first one's coming towards you, Gaurang. Vinati Organics bought at levels of 1,650. We've got Akshay who wants to hold for 3 to 5 years. Should he do so?
Well, excellent. I think specialty chemicals will again come back. Hold on for long term and add on to it.
All right. Vignesh wants a long-term view on Sundaram Fasteners. He has about 50 shares purchased at 550 rupees per share. What's your view on this one, Gaurang?
Unfortunately, we don't cover the stock. Sorry.
Okay. Tata Motors DVR, average price of, I believe, 129, if I'm not mistaken. Nelson wants to know whether to hold on, whether to add more. Gaurang?
So the underlying security is Tata Motors, and we have a coverage over there. In case you are in for the long term, you can look at buying on.
Okay, Emil wants to buy D-Mart at current price. He wants to know whether he should buy right now or wait for some more correction. He's aiming to stay invested for the next 3 years. Kunal?
Well, I'll suggest to buy. The stock has corrected quite handsomely, more than 30% from the previous highs. So, good entry.
Okay, Gaurang, Rajeshwari wants to know about Tata Power, bought at levels of 242.9. Should she buy more at the current levels to average her cost, or should she switch to something like an Adani Power?
Please don't do that. We don't cover any of the Adani Group stocks. I think Tata Power is a better name. Between 200 and 220, I think would be a better zone. I think it is trading at 224, Alex. So if you get closer to 220 or below 200, or closer to 200, I beg your pardon, you can make fresh investments and add as well.
Okay, Shushrit is saying that he has 550 shares of Motherson Sumi at an average price of 225 rupees per share. He wants to know whether he should add some more of this particular counter. What's your take on this one, Kunal? How does Motherson Sumi look to you?
But purely as a contra bet, you can look to buy at current levels, expecting that the stock may bounce off to at least 185 to 190 within your term.
Okay, Sandeep, I believe your question on Motherson Sumi has been answered. On that note, we're completely out of time on this leg of the rapid fire segment and indeed the query segment. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for taking the time. Always a pleasure speaking with you. We have to slip into a short break, but do stay tuned. More on the other side.